So there have been a few books during medical school that have totally changed my experience of medical school, and I wanted to share those with you all today. If you're new here, my name's Alyssa. I'm a fourth year medical student, and I want to tell you about some books. So the first book, and if I were to only recommend one book from this video, it would be this book. It's called The Upside of Stress. This book has totally changed the way that I view stress, and it's changed the way that I actually act and take on challenges in my life. This book, called The Upside of Stress by Dr. McGonigal, really talks about the power of how you think about stress and how that can actually change your body's stress response. So she talks about a lot of the research that's currently out there on stress, and just the way that you think about stress can actually change the hormones your body releases in terms of cortisol and DHEA. And if you think about stress as being positive, it can actually help you perform better. I used some of the mindsets that she recommended, and I think that helped me taking step 2. So when I went into step 2, I slept less than 3 hours. I was worried that it was going to impact my performance, but I thought that, you know what, I'm just going to use the stress to my advantage. I didn't sleep, and I'm just going to, do the best that I can, and I'm going to use this. And I feel like that actually helped me do better. And anyway, this book, If you want to change the way that you think about stress, this is the book. And I think it's really powerful in medical school because you can't necessarily change the way that things are, right? You can't change the fact that you have an exam to study for this week. You can't change the fact that you have to take boards. You can't change that you have to do a lot of things that are just really stressful for people. But if you can change the way that you think about stress, that's actually really powerful. So number 1, The Upside of Stress, Kelly McGonigal. The next book that I would recommend is called The Power of Letting Go. So this book I decided to read because I was having a hard time letting things go after I had a residency interview. So after I finished the interview, I just kept thinking about it, and I couldn't help but think that this is the last impression I'm going to make to this program before they decide where to put me on the rank list. And it felt like so much pressure, and it's a lot of waiting. So some of my interviews I was doing in October, some in November, and I don't find where I match until March. That's a long time of just boiling in my thoughts and wondering, if I'm even going to match and where I'm going to match and all of those things. So I think this book really has helped me analyze my thoughts and learn how to just kind of let them go. I think it's also been helpful in terms of like past things and stories that I tell myself. So one thing that I tell myself is I'm not very good at, speaking in front of people or presentations. And I've had to figure out, where is that coming from? Why do I believe that? If I were to believe something different, how would that actually change the situation? And it's really helped me, even in terms of coming on to YouTube and talking, because I don't find talking to be something really, natural for me. I'm more of the science-y, math-minded person who doesn't really, who just struggles at speaking to humans. But yeah, this book has been really, really good if you struggle with overthinking things and having a hard time letting things go. Okay, the last book is called The 12 Rules for Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson. I didn't really realize this one is controversial. I guess it's controversial, but I don't really think of it that way. But a couple of things during this book have been really instrumental in the medical school journey. And the first one is not comparing yourself to others. So I think that comparing yourself to others is very normal during medical school because you're constantly being ranked against others. You're on a rotation with another person or several people, and they're writing evals afterwards. How could they not compare you to the other student who's on rotation with you? But I think this has helped me realize that you can't compare yourself to somebody because their life is so different from yours. You have no idea what's going on in their life. So for instance, I lost my dad during my first year of medical school. And after that, I really sort of poured myself into my studies even more than I did previously. And I'm pretty intense when it comes to studying and exams and stuff. But I think that, people might look and say, oh, she scored XYZ on said exam, but they wouldn't necessarily know that I'm doing that to cope with the loss of my dad. And I'm using this to avoid the pain in my life. And we all have different things that we do. But I think that was really powerful for me in terms of not comparing myself to others. So Anyway, that was really good. He also said something in there about, telling the truth and not lying, which I tend to be an honest, vulnerable person, I would say in general. But during my rotations, I was told to, tell your attending on whatever rotation you're on that you actually want to go into that specialty. And I think that is terrible advice, because I think that if you tell the truth, then your attending or preceptor or whoever can actually help you if they know what specialty you want to go into. So for instance, if I was on OBGYN and I want to go into anesthesia, the OBGYN could help me, make sure I see the spinal done on the patient before they have a C-section. And I think that it just gives more opportunity for your attendings and residents to help you. Similarly, when you're on a rotation with a cardiologist and they ask you if you heard the murmur or if you understand what they're talking about, if you say yes, even though you don't understand, there's nowhere for them to actually be able to teach you and to help you. But if you're honest with them, then they can actually teach you and show you. I think it's hard being that way, because in medicine you have to portray utmost confidence for patients to believe in you and put their trust in you. But in reality, we're all just humans, and we can't remember everything we learn in medical school, and we can't know everything. And I think that it's hard sometimes to be honest with others. And anyway, I do think that this has been really helpful to just, keep in mind that thought. But that book has been a really important one for me. And I guess if you're to read one of these books, I really hope you will read The Upside of Stress. I think it's helped me immensely in medicine so far, and it's given me more courage to be able to speak in front of others. I presented at a conference recently, and that took a lot of guts for me, because I don't really like talking in front of people, and I have gotten better, and I am continuing to get better at doing that exactly. And I think that's just because I'm learning how to use stress to my advantage. And if you think about stress as being something positive and something that's going to help you, if I think about my nerves before presenting as giving me focus and clarity and enabling me to connect with others, that helps me to perform better and to do better. And I think that that's great, especially in medicine. So those are my 3 book recommendations. Let me know if you have any books you would recommend, and I would love to read those. And I will see you in another video. Thank you so much for watching.